get the recorder on here. So now to our main portion of the afternoon, which I'm sure we're all excited to be part of. Even a few friends are right now. They came out to say hi. But anyway, as a small child, the Santa Barbara Zoo was known as the child estate. It was a regular occurrence for my family and myself. And to look at animals like the seals and dandelion, which is the first time I've ever seen a lion up close, it was quite a magical experience. But since then, the Santa Barbara Zoo has done so much to become one of the greatest, smallest zoos in the country. So we at Chaucer's are very pleased to partner up with the Santa Barbara Zoo and Dori Edwards and Ryan Carr for this book, Monty's Marvelous Adventure. So please welcome Dori and Ryan. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's great that you can come out. Thank you both for taking the time to talk to us. Before we begin, I'm going to have you read the book, Dori, but I want to find out how the book came about.
Yes, of course. So it's been about a year-long journey now. And so, as you know, last year, pretty much exactly a year ago, in March of 2020, a pandemic hit, and it's been hard on a lot of us. Mm-hmm. And in comes Monty the penguin. So Monty was hand-raised by Ellie and a few other keepers because he was born sick and he needed help. And so because of that, and I'm laughing because he's here. So let's do this. Where are you going? So where are you at? Come here.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, buddy. Is that my friend? Is that my friend? Oh, I should put my mask on, huh? Sorry. So in walks this little guy. And because he was comfortable being around humans, in this case, his keeper Ellie and his keeper Dana is here as well. We started taking him on adventures around the zoo since, having a lot of people there would be overwhelming for him. But with the space, we started walking him around. And so I started documenting it on social media, following him around, his videos, wherever he goes, even behind a fridge, wherever he goes, he's always getting into something. And are you back there? Hi. And people loved it. They just went nuts for this little penguin who, was so curious. Thank you. So curious, right? And so accepting and so loving to his keeper Ellie. And it just brought people so much joy at any time, especially in a time when life is hard, and so seeing the response was amazing and how much joy was brought. And there he is doing his little happy dance. And there's Ellie, there's Dana. And we started getting comments from the zoo, does Monty have a book? And I was like, no, but I love writing and I have the time. And so I sat down and I wrote a book, and it'd been a process of writing it, editing it, working with the zoo, working with Montecito Bank and Trust, who is Monty's sponsor and sponsored the first print of the books. And so, yeah, here we are. It's been a beautiful adventure. There he goes.
So how did you get Ryan involved with the book?
So Ryan I'm going to turn the camera this way, and we're going to try something and turn on my phone at the same time so that I can kind of follow Monty. Let's see what he does. But Ryan is a longtime family friend. He is an amazing, kind, wonderful person, and him and my dad are really close. And actually a long time ago, Ryan did a sketch of one of my childhood dogs growing up. And so my dad was like, you should contact Ryan. And I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and the timing was perfect too, because we were all in lockdown. So having a big project to work on was exactly what we needed. It was great to collaborate.
Do you want to follow him around?
Sure. You've had some training though. You went to school for children's illustration, haven't you?
Right. I got my illustration degree. I think you got a little feedback there. There you go. From the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, and yeah, was an illustration major out there, and came back to Ventura and have been working here ever since. It's so fun to watch him. I got to have a day at the zoo with Dori. Dori got me up there during lockdown, and got to take photographs and follow him around for the day, and it was just so much fun. A lot of the reference photos that I got for the book were from that day of walking around with Monty.
So you took a lot of photos to get an idea of how to draw Monty then.
Exactly. Kind of get the lay of the land. I got a lot of reference photos of the other animals that were in this book, and yeah, that worked out perfectly. Yeah.
And Dori, how did the story idea itself, how did you create that? Just the story idea.
When I first
I don't know how.
First wrote the book.
There we go.
Weird seeing myself on two different screens.
Okay.
Self-ception. So when I first read the book, I sat down kind of in a night and it just poured out of me, the first draft. And after that, it took quite a few edits. But the story came to me, it was all based on actual animals that Monty met at the zoo. And so he interacted with Bangori the gorilla, Michael the giraffe, the tortoises. And actually Michael the giraffe, it was funny, it was kind of an accident. We were taking Monty to visit the tortoises that are up near Michael, and we didn't even think about it until Michael's like craning over looking at Monty. And we're like, oh. And so it's all based off of real photos, real videos that we have on our social media that you can go see all of those adventures as well.
So that was great timing for you to be there at that time then, to see all this.
It definitely was. It feels very, very kismet, very meant to be. I feel very fortunate, you know, amid everything. So
that was your light bulb moment then to tell the story.
It felt like it. And I've just always loved animals and want to tell their story and teach about them. And it felt like such a great way to do that. It felt right, you know. Great.
Before we begin, I'd like you had mentioned some penguin programs. So if you can mention those first before you read, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So we have a foster feeder program here at the zoo where people, businesses, organizations can sponsor an animal, which contributes to, he's like, be a foster feeder, be a foster feeder. So it helps feed the animals, helps take care of them, helps toward their conservation, preservation, really just helps our overall mission here at the zoo. And so you can, if you're interested, be a foster feeder, sponsor any animal here. But, you know, if we are looking for penguin sponsors, and that means, like I said, you can contribute to their care, and you can look into that at sbzoo.org/donate. And yeah, you can sponsor a little guy like Monty, huh? Hi, Woody. Woody. Hi. How you doing? I know you love the camera.
Very curious.
Oh, he's so cool. Oh, I know. You're very famous. And he knows it. We know he knows it. Don't you know?
So Diane Jones just wrote in, this is the best Zoom event of the last year. Thank you. It's a great book. Can't wait to share this from the YouTube channel from a Zoom member, Diane Jones.
Oh, thank you.
And she wholeheartedly endorses foster feeding. It's a great gift. Oh. And she made her parents penguin foster feeders.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And also two of your biggest fans, Suzanne and Wesley, say hi to Monty as well.
Oh, did you hear that, Monty? Yes.
Is there anything you wanted to add, or did your trainers want to say anything?
Yeah, anything. I'm just putting them on the spot.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Well, hi. Oh, we're talking. Okay. Ellie. I helped raise Monty. I don't currently work with him. I'm not his keeper on a day-to-day basis. That's Dana. So Dana really knows Monty's everyday kind of lifestyle. I've just known him since the day that he hatched. So I did get to work with him for the first 5 years of his life. And then I just work in a different area now. So he is the most familiar with me as far as that goes on staff. However, like I said, Dana works with him day in and day out. But he has always been a very inquisitive penguin, very rambunctious. From the moment he hatched out of his egg, he had quite a personality, and it showed the first moment that he was hatched, basically. And when he was a lot younger, we used to do some events with him and weddings, and a lot of just, you know, he's finding things on my body that are very interesting, like my watch. So he got used to the public really, really, really early on. And then we ended up having him pair with another penguin, and he became a father. And during that time, we actually kind of stepped back for a while, and we let him kind of cultivate that relationship with his mate, and then the relationship with his son. And once his son kind of got old enough, that's when we decided that it would be okay to maybe develop that relationship again. And that was just when we closed. Dori kind of presented us with an idea of, you know, if there's anything you wanted to, you know, captivate or, you know, find on for social media. And I thought, hey, let's take Monty out. We haven't taken him out in a really long time. That would be kind of cool. And it really just started as, hey, let's just get him in the barnyard and see what happens and let him meet the bunny. And that's all it ever was supposed to be. And then it just kind of exploded into this really amazing, incredible thing. And it was very humbling, to be honest. To be a part of it. And again, it wasn't in any way intentional. And I'm so appreciative that I've been able to remain able to have this relationship with him, even though I don't work with him every day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Dana and Elliot, Dana, thank you for bringing Monty out.
Thank you.
It was quite the treat, and it worked out really well.
Great.
Yeah.
So Dori,
Yes.
why don't you read us a story?
Okay. Thank you both so much.
Of course, yeah.
It's good to see
guys.
you. Bye,
Hi, Monty.
I love you.
All right, I think I switched over to you as the host there. Do you see that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so tell us Monty's marvelous adventures.
I will. I love that penguin. It makes my life that I get to have a penguin friend. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, this is Monty's Marvelous Adventures. There once was a penguin named Monty, a curious little creature. His steps were light and jaunty, and he lived for adventure. Monty wasn't like the others. He had scars upon his back, but no one is like another, and that's the truest fact. It matters not what you wear, and it's okay if you feel scared. What matters is you're aware of the open heart you bear. Feeling brave in his tuxedo, Monty was ready to go. He hopped onto land and waddled down the road. He walked into the jungle and then into the woods. He walked as far as he could into other animals' neighborhoods. The first creature he saw had some giant furry hands. With a squarey, scary jaw, he was larger than a man. This thing wasn't a penguin. He didn't have a beak. He had no pair of wings, but on his back, a silver streak. Monty felt alarmed by this creature's obvious strength. He thought, why don't I have arms or a pair of fangs? My name is Bangori. I am a great ape. There's a pretty good story of why I am this shape. Though I may seem stern or like I wear a frown, it's important that we learn why a smile turns down. See, I have a thick brow to protect my smart mind. It may look like a scowl, but it's just how I'm designed. Behind this serious look, I can be quite kind, and just like any book, it matters what's inside. My body is full of might to help me through forest land. Your body is small and light to ride waves to the sand. My arms help me climb trees. Your flippers work in the sea. Though I'm larger on the outside, you're just as strong as me. We may differ in our size, as everyone can see, but for how we spend our time, it's who we're meant to be. So Monty said goodbye and waddled on his way, wondering what more he'd find on this funny, sunny day. As Monty walked about, what he saw gave him a shock. Some legs were sticking out from underneath a rock. He wondered why this creature carried a shell on its back. Why have this funky feature, this odd mobile shack? It must make him slow, and he wouldn't win a race. Then out from down below, the tortoise poked his face. I may not be swift, no need to be in haste. I stop and enjoy the gifts of this beautiful place. What your speed does for you, my shell does for me too. They're there just in case we ever feel unsafe. Your feathers keep you dry while out in the ocean. My shell protects my spine when sleeping or in motion. Things might take me a while, I have a different pace, but it's just a different style of getting to the same place. When Monty turned around, he couldn't believe his eyes. Up way off the ground was an incredibly tall surprise. As big as a 2-story house, a giraffe looked straight down at this tuxedo-wearing mouse, baffled by what he'd just found. Monty's mind was full of thoughts, like why was his neck so long? Why was his skin covered in spots? Why am I not that tall? Why can't I be? Why not? The giraffe looked at Monty. To the curious bird he said, I have the answers you seek for the questions in your head. You see, I can reach the trees and eat all that I wish. Your shape helps with your speed, so you catch a lot of fish. So different in our colors, both protect us from others. My pattern helps me camouflage from a hungry lion entourage. And from the ocean below, the white on your front looks only like the sun's glow to a seal on the hunt. For legs and lots of height, or shorten on 2 feet, both ways are just right. They help us live and eat. We may have different faces and look at different views. We may live in different places, but I'm really just like you. We both have eyes that see, 2 ears that help us hear. We both have hearts that beat for our families far and near. Monty learned so much, like not to be in a rush, to take the time to learn and give everyone a turn. If you're willing to explore, even when you're afraid, there are wonders galore when you're curious about each day. Having spots on your skin is so very unique, like the dimple on your chin or the freckles on your cheek. Monty learned that things are full of love, no matter what their size. He learned that no one is above, and to love all is to be wise. With flippers, fins, or hands, it is not what we see, but that we understand we're all meant to be. Monty looked at his best friend Ellie, his keeper at the zoo, a human and a penguin, as different as me and you. They didn't look alike, they couldn't even talk, but she was very kind and took him on lots of walks. She helped him to be brave, and he made her smile. She loved the hugs he gave, how they laughed all the while. All that Monty knew was together they had fun. When looking you see two, but through love they are one. Their differences didn't matter, the zookeeper and bird, and Monty wanted to show her what he couldn't say with words. So he looked and saw a flower fallen beneath his feet. He gave it to this friend, so different than he. He thought we're all different shapes, and no one should feel shame, because underneath the surface, we're all just the same. And all creatures become gentle when in love they are showered. So thanks for being my friend. Here's a pretty flower. Thank you for listening.
Bravo. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you for listening and being here.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
What's the ride been like with this book? I know you're releasing in times of COVID, but it's got a lot of following. I mean, a lot of the local press have really eaten it up.
Yeah. To use Ellie's word, I think it's been really humbling to see, and I just feel so lucky and so grateful to be a part of this community, this experience that has brought joy and beauty and love in a time that's particularly difficult, something that people have looked forward to in their day. The comments that we've gotten of the smiles that this penguin brings to them, people that are watching from the hospital, his videos, and have sent books to their family members across the country. I just think it has been such an amazing opportunity of this interconnectedness that we see between humans and animals and each other, in a way to for people to come together in a time where we're all quite separate and isolated, you know, and it's been amazing to to be a part of that.
I think it's really wonderful. I mean, because when most people write books, they're associated with it, but to have it all encompassing like this and how it affects the community, the local community, especially with what everyone's dealing with now, I think makes it seem that much more special.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, what are your thoughts? Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying it feels that way. It feels special. Thank you.
Ryan, what are your thoughts just about being part of the experience?
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, I'm just so thankful that Dori wanted me to be a part of this adventure too. Like I love drawing and illustrating, and having the chance to do that with such a great organization like the Santa Barbara Zoo that I've gone to since I was a kid too. I'm here in Ventura, so I'm not that far away, but I have a lot of good memories of that zoo and all the animals there, and really shaping my outlook on the world. And yeah, I'm totally honored to be a part of it. It's a great story. It's a great message. And yeah, and I tried my best with what we had, and it was yeah.
You did a wonderful job, though.
Thank you so much.
They really go well with the story. And it's a wonderful story. Holly Beverly wanted to know, is Monty's mate still alive?
Unfortunately, no. Veta passed away in December, and it was actually shortly before the book, you know, being printed, and we postponed the book release a little bit because we wanted to really make sure that Monty was taken care for, that he's always the priority. And so he was given a lot of care by his keepers to, you know, monitoring him physically, but mentally and emotionally as well, you know, watching his grief, you know, that is very real for all of us. And so he's doing well, thanks to,
I was going to ask
you. Yeah, he's doing very well, thanks to the love he receives from them. So.
So what's next then for the book and for Monty and everything?
I know.
You know, has anybody called?
Good question. Let's just say we have some ideas percolating. They're in the percolating stage right now. You know, we have so many amazing animals here with the most interesting stories that deserve to be told, you know, and Monty too, maybe more stories with Monty, because there's just always content with Monty. Like Monty's just always a story, you know? So
I have a feeling Hollywood is going to come calling.
That'd be fun. I'll be answering.
Who's gonna play you, Ryan, first?
We'll get some ginger in there somewhere. So.
And Dori?
Me. I will play me.
You're not going to let Meghan Markle play you?
You know, if Meghan Markle wanted to play me, I might, you know, pass the torch.
In all seriousness, what's next for the both of you in terms of Dori, your writing, and Ryan, your art? What are you working on anything right now?
Oh, let's see. Right now, I feel like I am letting this all settle and integrate into my life. It has been such a big experience. And I feel like shortly after I was like, okay, what's next? And then didn't even give myself time to just be like, wait, look at this, enjoy this. And so right now it feels really good to be present in this and also be inspired and having had people, you know, support me, like the Santa Barbara Zoo, like Montecito Bank and Trust, like Ryan, like all my friends, family, the community, and just having people believe in you and your word and your story feels like the biggest stepping stone towards what is next for me, that I now have this sense of belief that I can do this and I can share stories. And I would really like, what's next is I would really like to share more animal stories. You know, it's really important to me to give voice to the voiceless. It's really important to me that animals are seen, and particularly animals that aren't often seen by humans, you know,
Mhm.
of the big animals, the elephants, the giraffes, which are all wonderful and beautiful, but I would really like to, you know, pay attention and listen to the stories that want to be told of, you know, the mystical looking birds with the giant beaks, and you know,
Mhm.
that would ideally be what's next for me, is to tell some more unlikely stories, if you will.
Well, you have a lot of it. You're surrounded by inspiration. So
Exactly.
you have the best job.
I know. I'm really lucky.
Yeah. And Ryan, what about you? What's next for you?
I still have illustration gigs. I'm always working on something. Currently, I'm artist in residence for the George A. Romero Foundation in Pittsburgh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's a very different thing than doing kids' books.
I was going to say, yeah.
But it's a lot of the films that Romero made, and I work on their newsletter and do illustration for that. And yeah, and still, you know, as things start opening up, mural opportunities are coming up again, and there might be a couple more kids' books in the works. We'll see what happens. So
Great.
I'm always drawn. I'm always doing something. So keep it.
Okay, Diane wrote, we'll close it with Diane's thought here. Monty's video adventures were a quarantine highlight for this local who grew up going to the child's estate. No question, just to say it's a beautiful book. All ages enjoy the book, and it's a pleasure to see Monty in person. The beautiful illustrations too. Thank you, Chaucers. So with that, thank you, Dori. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us. And please pass on our thanks to Monty, Elliot, and Dana for us, okay? Everyone, please buy Monty's Marvelous Adventures through Chaucer's or through an independent bookstore of your choice. Thank you for joining us. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ryan.
See ya. Oh.